Frank Miller, husband of Sharon, was met with her wrath following his discovery of her infidelity at a clandestine swingers club. Sharon was furious, particularly with him. "I am Frank Miller. How could I not have known she was angry?" "It's simple. While driving us home from a party hosted by friends Anne and Hank Vanderlyn, she distanced herself from me in the car, huddled in a corner. Her frown was so deep it appeared capable of spoiling milk. Why was she so angry at me? To be honest, I believe she had a valid reason to be angry because I ruined her night. I deeply regret my actions and the embarrassment I caused my wife of 10 years and mother of our 3 children. I made an enormous blunder. So what did I do to embarrass her and ruin her night? I grabbed the wrong key. You see, the Vanderlyns host lively parties, and my wife, all of a sudden, wanted to join in the festivities. Sadly, I wasn't interested. For the first time at one of their gatherings, my wife obtained an invitation via a mutual acquaintance's contact. Unbeknownst to me, this event had a unique custom. Wives would surrender their house keys into a bowl, and husbands would randomly select a key, leading them to the master suite for a night of unconventional activities. As the evening drew to a close, I suddenly grasped the impending scenario, causing me to become furious. Never had I been so enraged at Sharon. Seizing her arm, I escorted her into the kitchen. "Were you aware this party would conclude in this manner?" I questioned her. She smiled slyly at me. "Yes. Hadn't you considered informing me prior to our arrival?" "No, because I knew you wouldn't consent unless compelled to. I categorically refuse, and I always retain the right to choose. Let's depart." "We can't leave now. It's impolite, it might make me uncomfortable, but for some thrill in our marriage, even just for a night, I suggested we stay. However, I can forego that kind of excitement. Let's leave. But you need this, just for tonight. You want to be more than a wife and mother. It's only one night, and it won't happen again. And since you've already placed our key in the bowl, we can't retract now." "No way," I stated firmly, pulling you back into the living room where everyone was eagerly waiting around the keys bowl to pick their partner for the night. You resisted initially, but I released you and moved towards the bowl. I wasn't aware of this part of the party's rules. I announced loudly that I wouldn't share my wife with anyone here. I searched until I found our house key with the red plastic cover, took it out, and faced the taken-aback crowd. The rules weren't communicated to me beforehand. I abhor dishonesty, and my marriage promises are of utmost importance to me. Despite some disapproving glances and murmurs, I paid no heed. My wife was enraged. "Sharon," I said, "you have a decision to make immediately. Join me and forget this commotion, or remain and never return home again. I'm departing." Every gaze shifted towards my wife, now flushed with humiliation. After a brief pause, she responded, "I apologize for my husband's actions. I wish to stay, but under the current circumstances, I must leave." With fury and reluctance, she followed me outside to the car. "You're a selfish jerk," she shouted at me. "How could you humiliate me like that in front of everyone? We'll never be welcomed there again." "Humiliate you, Sharon?" I retorted. "What about how you humiliated me by not informing me about your arrangement to be with someone else tonight? Well, you were supposed to be with another wife, so we both would have enjoyed ourselves. I don't desire to be with another woman, Sharon. For over a decade of marriage, hearing about your desire to be with another person is disturbing. You suggest it's only for one occasion, yet after all our shared nights, it's still a night with someone else. After being a devoted wife for 10 years, isn't that fair? However, it isn't. I find this hard to comprehend, but evidently, this means a great deal to you, doesn't it?" "Yes, Frank, it does. For weeks, I've anticipated this moment. It represents an opportunity for me to transcend the role of wife and mother, to embark on an adventure, to be appreciated, and to experience a fleeting romance with another man. Is your proposed rendezvous with someone other than your spouse what you're referring to?" "Yes, that's it. That seems to be a significant aspect. Indeed, it appears to be the most crucial part, yes." Upon which I abruptly halted, made a U-turn on the street, and hurried back to the Vanderlyn residence. Sharon screamed upon seeing me turn around. "What are you doing, Frank?" "If sleeping with another man holds such significance for you, Sharon, feel free to do so. It appears everyone else is already there. Seems like you're not late to join them. Leave. Have a night filled with strangers. I hope they give you what I can't. It's just a new experience, an adventure. You suit me perfectly, but you understand that I can't go in there alone. We both need to participate, each with a new partner. I've made my stand clear, Sharon. I've never cheated on you and won't until our marriage ends." "What do you mean?" "It means precisely what I said. The decision is yours, Sharon, so if you choose this path, take it. Be with your unfaithful companions. They'll surely welcome a woman as beautiful as you into their circle, even without her husband." Sharon reached for the door handle, then paused. I could see she was deep in thought. Her voice softened. "Could you drive me tomorrow morning, Frank? I won't know my location until then, but I'll reach out when I do. It means a lot to me. However, it seems unlikely. Yet, I assume your latest companion will provide the transport after staying overnight with you." "You're making it sound so negative, Frank. He's not going to be my romantic partner, just someone I'm sharing an emotional connection with for one night. I adore you, Frank. You're the only man for me. Is that truly your belief? It's inconceivable that you could love me and do what you intend." "Let me clarify. You're seeking a new partner for intimacy, correct? You desire a different man to father a child. That's harsh, Frank. You are aware I'm on birth control, so there's no risk of pregnancy. It's merely an evening with someone new. It'll be exhilarating. Ever pondered what it feels like to be with someone new? Just a novel experience with distinct emotions, everything fresh. Trust me, it'll add excitement to our relationship. Have a good time with someone new, Sharon. You understand the consequences of your actions, right? Just one night, Frank, isn't too steep a price. Not even an instant should stand in the way of our entire lives. We'll build our future together if you don't proceed with this. If you do, we won't have a future at all. You're overreacting, Frank. I can't let you spoil this night for me. I crave a brief moment with someone new, and you won't stand in my way. I'm making this choice, and you need to accept it. By tomorrow, by the morning, I'll be back and we'll move past this. Tomorrow, our past will be exactly that, the past. After sharing yourself with another man, I won't feel the same for you anymore. Now you're being unreasonable. You belong to me, and I'll make you feel that way again. I assure you of that. Sharon, listen to me. If you return to that house, our marriage is over. Your one night will cost you your marriage and family. No, Frank, it won't. We're married and will remain so. We were destined to be together. I cherish you and I believe you feel the same. We'll overcome this, I guarantee. I'll rectify the situation. You're causing me emotional distress, Sharon. Stop being so overly dramatic. Consider it a new journey for me. It's a fresh journey for you, but it's our ending, Frank. Stop with the foolishness, Frank. I'll alter your perspective in the morning, and you know that. Do you truly believe I'd reciprocate your affection after spending the night with someone else? You will, Sharon, and much more. I'll ensure it. I can't believe how foolish you are, Frank. Leave. My words took her aback, but she went to step out of the car. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Frank. I shook my head sadly and sighed. No, Sharon, you won't. As soon as she pushed the door to close it, I floored the accelerator and screeched away, leaving tire marks for about a block. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing there on the curb with her mouth agape. Upon rounding the corner, she vanished from view without stirring. I anticipated an immediate apology, acknowledging her error and inviting me back. Yet she remained silent. Likely, she believed my anger would subside within a few days, allowing for reconciliation in the bedroom. However, she grossly underestimated the situation. My father often said that if a woman was contemplating infidelity, the thought process had already begun. If a married woman seriously considered it, her vows were already broken. While I harbored no anger towards admiration, her scheming indicated betrayal. Despite the pain, she had ended our union. It's time to progress. the saddest aspect is the impact on our three children: 9-year-old Jocelyn, 8-year-old Rebecca Ann, and 4-year-old Frank Jr. Each day, I grapple with imagining life without them. Still, I could not overlook her actions without repercussions. Over the weekend, my children were with my mother, leaving me free to contemplate my future actions. I aimlessly drove for a while, lingering in anticipation that Sharon would call and invite me to collect her. However, it became evident that she had made up her mind. I eventually formulated a plan and returned home. As soon as I parked in the driveway, my phone rang. I wished it was Sharon asking me to fetch her, but the caller ID revealed it wasn't her. I answered regardless. In the background, there was music and laughter, and a man spoke. "Hi, Frank. This is Rick Wilson from the party. You left. Your wife gave me your number. She's hoping I can persuade you to change your mind. She's quite eager for tonight and wants you to participate too. You're fortunate indeed. Every man here covets her key. She keeps saying someone's in for an unforgettable night. Come back and rejoin us. There are several attractive women here eager for a good time with you. Abandon your deceitful self, Rick Wilson, and may you and your fellow party members endure miserable destinies. I, however, am leaving. My bags are packed for a prolonged stay. I've taken my laptop, shaving gear, and clothes, loaded them into the car. The marriage license and ring from our union no longer exist. The former is torn to pieces, the latter shattered with a hammer. I left them on Sharon's pillow, locked the door, and departed under the cover of night. Initially, I sought refuge in a motel near town, but first I made a detour to the Vanderland residence. Having noticed some departures from the party and people socializing outside, I didn't see Sharon. Presumably, she had either left with her new companion or was with Mr. Vanderland himself. My next stop was a motel in the adjacent town. The place wasn't flashy, but it offered hidden parking in the back to conceal my vehicle if needed. Having parked safely, I nabbed a 6-pack of Newcastle from the nearby convenience store, deciding to unwind with some TV. The initial 2 drinks soothed me. By the third, my phone rang. It was Sharon. Since I knew she wasn't calling for a pickup, I let it go to voicemail. "Frank, you're overreacting about this. Rick Wilson told me your remarks to him. I've reminded you countless times that it's just one night. I'm merely experimenting with one person, and that doesn't make me a bad individual. I vow, even if I'm slightly uncomfortable, I'll compensate when I return home tomorrow. Oh, and since you removed our house key from the bowl, they made a new one for me. The man holding it is named Glenn, and he appears amiable. He's married with children like us. Given that you're at our residence, I went to his place instead. His wife and her nighttime companion are in another part of the house, distant enough to avoid hearing each other during intense moments, given my known loudness when with her." She chuckled. "I understand you're upset, but I assure you he won't venture into uncharted territory. I informed Glenn we should keep things casual, just the usual activities." Glenn concurred, considering it was my first time with someone else. He pledged to drop me off tomorrow, and I will ensure the house is spotless before returning home. No remnants of this incident for you. Sweet dreams, darling. See you in the morning. Brace yourself for some excitement. Love you, Frank. The thought made me queasy. It never occurred to me that my wife was so thoughtless. Yes, Sharon had always been a tad naive, but her lack of foresight is now painfully evident, potentially leading to the demise of our marriage and our children's lives with us. There's no chance she believes I'd reconsider taking her back after what she did sleeping with another man and flaunting it in my face. It's clear everyone at the party had a great time at my expense. I was filled with anger, pain, and humiliation, yet she showed no concern. Despite knowing I should have ignored her message, I couldn't help but call her back. After 3 rings, she answered. "Hey, honey, Glenn and I are getting comfortable in bed, so I can't talk for long." "Shut up, Sharon. This might be the last time you hear from me. You don't understand what you've done, but you'll find out soon enough. Enjoy your time with Glenn, because the repercussions will be worse than you can imagine. Listen to this, Sharon. Once Glenn touches you, our marriage is over. Do you hear me? Over. At this moment, I hate you more than I ever loved you. I eagerly await being rid of you completely. My lawyer will reach out to you next week. I ended the call. Within 30 seconds, she called back. I let her message go to voicemail once more. Frank, she seemed on the verge of tears. Why are you behaving this way? How can you speak to me like that? I'm your spouse. Couldn't we just let tonight pass without interference? Glenn and I have only just started, and now you're jeopardizing it for me. I'm not sure if I can continue as I wish with him now. We aren't divorcing. I'll return in the morning, and we can discuss this then. I wouldn't return early, but I promised Glenn to stay with him tonight. Please try to comprehend. I must do this. He has my key, and I pledged he could have me. He really desires this now, doesn't he? Yes, exactly at this moment as we speak. I must leave. Glenn is prepared, he's ready. I adore you, Frank. My love for you will never fade. Don't declare our marriage over when I do this with him. I can't help it, my love. He's already here. Oh God, please. Oh yes, try to understand. Then I heard her murmur to him, "Oh yes, Glenn. Tonight is mine. See you in the morning, sweetheart." Once again, I found myself unable to resist. Called her again, and this time it took multiple rings before reaching voicemail, suggesting Glenn was with her. Message left. From your last message, I can deduce Glenn is already with you, enjoying the new feelings he's giving you. Spend the night with him if you wish. Sharon, you've broken my heart irrevocably, and I cannot forgive you. You managed to fulfill a promise to a man you barely know, yet failed to honor your marriage vows to me, who has loved and remained faithful for over a decade. I no longer recognize you. You won't see me in the morning, and we might never meet again. However, divorce papers will be served next week, and I will be charging you with adultery. Since Glenn is now doing what only I should have had the right to do, you are officially a cheater. Feel free to find solace with any man you desire from now on, but if it matters to you, you've lost me for good, and I will stick to my promise. Sharon didn't answer my phone call. I understand she becomes deeply engrossed during intimate moments, immersing herself entirely in the person she's with. By now, they were utterly preoccupied with each other. I'm unsure if she received my recent message, but it doesn't matter. The harm has been done, and our marriage is over. There's no chance I'd ever reconcile with her after the disrespect and humiliation she inflicted, tarnishing our union. I drank the remaining beers. Sharon was vocal. That's her way. I suspect she behaves similarly with Glenn. The alcohol eased my distress, eventually leading to sleep, my tears still flowing. Awaking after 4 hours, reality struck hard. My wife had found solace in another, and I was left grappling with how to secure our children, distance myself from her, and make the partygoers as uncomfortable as possible. We reside in Bayou, Mississippi, a picturesque town nestled on the Gulf of Mexico. Due to Mississippi's allowance of divorce based on adultery, I might evade alimony payments and potentially gain child custody. In such critical circumstances, I required an exceptional attorney swiftly. Post-haste, I took a shower and changed my clothes. At 7:30, I contacted my mother to inform her about the turn of events. She shared my shock regarding Sharon's actions. Having the kids for the weekend, she pledged not to discuss it with them. I promised to retrieve them once I formulated a plan. Given our history, I anticipated that Sharon would likely be granted temporary custody. Admittedly, she had been an excellent mother and wife until last night. Following our conversation, I headed to the nearby diner for breakfast. Midway through parking and approaching the entrance, my phone rang. It was Sharon. I pondered answering but chose not to, instead letting it go to voicemail. She didn't leave a message, yet persisted in calling back multiple times until finally leaving a message, inconsolable. "Frank, please pick up the phone." "What do you mean we might never see each other again? And what's with the talk about divorce papers?" "You can't leave me, Frank. We have 3 treasured children who need us both. Why did you tear apart our marriage certificate and shatter your wedding band? I gave you that ring on our wedding day, and you vowed to wear it forever. It symbolizes our everlasting love. I knew you'd be a bit angry with me, but I didn't think you would go this far. Frank, I have deep feelings for you, but I really needed that special night with Glenn. It was significant to me. He made me feel vibrant and youthful again. I had forgotten how delightful it is to laugh and scream at the same time. But as remarkable as last night was, you're the only man for me, Frank. I know how to make amends and alleviate your hurt feelings. Please come home so I can demonstrate my love for you and set things right. She began crying, and it was difficult to understand her words. Frank, why couldn't you comprehend I yearned for a single night with someone new, to feel desired and valued once more? It was exhilarating to realize another man found me attractive and wanted me. Please, Frank, strive to empathize. It was merely a fleeting moment, nothing more. Speak to me. I love you. You and our children are everything to me. Her voice weakened, becoming, Frank, oh God, it was only intimacy, Frank. Only that happened. And she wept until the call ended. I found myself standing outside the diner, utterly bewildered. Had Sharon harbored these emotions during our entire marriage, and now, in the last few seconds of her mid-30s, they erupted? Sharon remains as stunning as ever, at 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 130 pounds, with her dark blonde hair cascading down to her shoulders and her piercing light blue eyes. She possesses an attractive physique. Her breast size is just right, neither excessive nor insufficient, and although her hips may have expanded somewhat due to 3 children, she continues to captivate everyone around her. Yet, the concept of needing validation from another man seems absurd. I've consistently expressed my love and desire for her in various ways: gift-giving, regular dating, daily compliments on her beauty, and verbal expressions of affection. Our intimate life was satisfying, or so I believed. We made love frequently, at least 3 times a week, ensuring her satisfaction. What did I overlook? My appetite waned, but I still went to the diner. Upon finding an empty table, I ordered scrambled eggs, toast, and black coffee, barely consuming my meal yet drinking numerous cups of coffee. I felt more lost, hollow, and heartbroken than ever before in my life. I now comprehended what people meant when they wished they were gone. My children were the sole reason I persisted. I had to survive for them, to traverse this living hell that Sharon had instigated and construct a future for them. That thought alone ignited my resolve. I would endure. I simply needed to find a way. Sharon called my phone approximately 20 times on that day, but each time it went unanswered, reaching voicemail instead. She begged me to comprehend, yet she never expressed remorse for her actions. Not once did she acknowledge making a mistake. Instead, she claimed she required that one night, and that it was my duty to back her up. They were intimate only 3 times that night, and once more in the morning. She voiced concern about not turning off her phone on time, fearing I might have listened in as Glenn carried out his duties. She hoped I hadn't heard too much. She seemed to know how to inflict pain profoundly. I couldn't fathom such carelessness. Yet, on the positive note, I obtained definitive audio proof of her infidelity, which could potentially be used in court. Although uncertain if it would be enough, the recordings were highly convincing, leaving no scope for ambiguity. The following day, I intended to find a competent lawyer and collect all pertinent data. Visiting my children at my mother's place, she informed me that Sharon had already contacted them regarding my whereabouts. My mom clarified that I was upset due to the recent events and preferred her not to talk to Sharon. Apparently, Sharon expressed distress, claiming I didn't understand. Mom rebutted by stating no man would comprehend a spouse openly flaunting an affair. Sharon inquired if she should retrieve the children, but my mom suggested it might be better for them to remain for a few additional days until things settled down. The kids were delighted to see me but questioned where their mother was. I informed them that she was occupied with something significant to her, and they would stay with Grandma for a while longer. Spent the evening playing games and dining together before I bid them farewell with a hug and kiss, heading back to my motel. Tomorrow promises to be a busy day. As the night drew to a close, I had one more task: a brief drive by. Upon spotting my house, emotions swelled once more. I shed tears for what was irretrievably lost. Surprisingly, no strange vehicles were parked in the driveway, though one might be inside the garage. The downstairs kitchen light being on suggested Sharon was alone tonight. Suddenly, it dawned on me. I still harbored feelings for her. Despite not considering reconciliation after her actions, the thought of her betraying me with another man caused intense pain. I struggled against the impulse to spy on her, but eventually succumbed. Parking a block away, I stealthily approached to peer through the kitchen window. There she was, at the table, an empty bottle of Grey Goose beside her. Her hair was disheveled, mascara tracks marked her face, seated at a table with her head resting, eyes shut. It was evident she wept, engulfed by a mountain of tissues. For a brief instant, I felt a pang of compassion for her, but then the memory of her deceit surfaced and my pity dissipated. Instead of retaliating, I departed towards my vehicle and left. A sense of contentment lurked. Perhaps she was beginning to grasp the magnitude of her deeds. If she sought sympathy, she could reach out to Glenn, her lover. The day, Monday, seemed premature, and my schedule brimmed with tasks. In the diner, I consumed eggs, toast, and coffee, this time finishing everything. Afterwards, I phoned my mother and conversed with each of my children, expressing my affection for them and promising to meet soon. Subsequently, I contacted work, informing my administrative assistant that I would deal with personal issues for the upcoming days. I notified her she could contact me if any pressing matters arose. Feeling uneasy but deferring further explanation, I promised to share details later. During my final year at Ole Miss, I lived with two close friends, Douglas Pratt Roman III and Maxwell McCrae, in a shared apartment. Despite our busy schedules, we've managed to maintain contact over the years. I majored in computer science, while Doug studied business administration and Max pursued law. Calling Doug first, I arranged for us to meet at the Lava Bar by the beach around 5. I needed their advice on a pressing issue, so I requested both of them. Max arrived shortly after 5, followed by Doug 10 minutes later. Upon our reunion, we chose a table on the patio, ordering drinks and making a toast. "What's the matter, Frank?" Doug asked, sensing the gravity in my voice. "Your call sounded urgent." I disclosed that Sharon had been unfaithful to me and shared the entire story with them. Doug exclaimed, "That's tough to swallow." He added, "I struggle to comprehend her actions." Max agreed, "I feel the same way, but she carried on without remorse, still insists I'm overreacting. Can you believe it?" Doug asked, "What's your next move?" To which Max inquired, "You want a divorce and aim to teach Glenn, whoever he is, and any other partygoers a lesson. But most importantly, you want to contest for custody of your children." Max warned, securing custody might not be straightforward unless she's been a neglectful mother. If she brings men home and conducts affairs in the kids' presence, then you have grounds. Otherwise, if she's generally a good mom, she may get custody, and you'd likely pay child support. Doug replied, "I can manage as long as I can see them whenever I wish." Max nodded. "That's possible, but the courts usually encourage both parents in raising the children, assuming they're both capable." Regarding finances, Doug inquired, "Since Sharon takes care of the children at home, and you appear to be earning a substantial six-figure income, what are your current account balances, including checking, savings, investments, 401ks, eras? It's estimated to be around $700,000 or $800,000, potentially more. The court may divide this amount equally, granting Sharon the house in custody. However, if you can provide evidence of infidelity on her part, which seems plausible given your case, alimony payments might not be required. By chance, do you know a highly skilled divorce lawyer? Incidentally, a partner at my firm is a renowned family law attorney in Mississippi named Maddie Simmons. Would you like me to arrange a meeting for you? Definitely, as soon as possible. In the interim, Doug proposed, I'll examine ways to protect some of your finances. Additionally, I could introduce you to a top divorce lawyer if needed. Provide me with all the necessary information about each dollar you have, and I will commence working on it. After our final round of drinks and farewells, I felt somewhat better than I had since this predicament started. On my way to the motel, my thoughts were consumed by the tasks ahead. The phone rang. It was Sharon. With a moment's hesitation, I stopped to answer. "What's new, Sharon?" I inquired directly. "What else could I possibly want, Frank? I want my husband back home where he rightfully belongs." Her voice trembled with tears. I'm sorry, but your indiscretion with Glenn makes it impossible for me to ever return home again, I stated decisively. She sobbed uncontrollably. Please don't say that, Frank, please don't. One night away from you after 10 years does not justify a divorce. Reconsider your decision. Infidelity is grounds for divorce in Mississippi. Why do you persist in labeling it as infidelity? One brief encounter with another, merely a fleeting romance still. Infidelity it becomes when a married partner engages. I cautioned you the instant Glenn entered your life. Every warning was genuine. Oh heaven, Frank, please, have mercy. You've brought this upon yourself, Sharon. What has befallen you? Are you under medication? Have you suffered some mental collapse, or are you simply reckless beyond belief? It appears that the allure of another man consumed you so entirely that you disregarded our children and my desires. Now you must bear the repercussions. I believed we shared a true contentment, with a charming home, 3 exceptional offspring, and a delightful companionship. And yet, you shattered it all by sleeping with a stranger and rubbing salt in the wound. We were blissfully content, Frank, and will be so again. I merely desired to explore an encounter with another man, a single instance in our prolonged partnership, seeking novelty without causing any harm. That was the intention. No harm? You fail to comprehend the magnitude of the destruction you've wrought. In a solitary night, you've obliterated our family. Your self-centeredness has fractured our lives beyond repair. First and foremost, Sharon, you've shattered my heart, demonstrating callous disregard for my emotions. Recall me, your spouse, the one who has cherished you unconditionally since our first encounter, the man who toils endlessly each day to create the life we both aspire to. You violated my trust by choosing a stranger over us, disregarding the promises we made a decade ago. You pledged your body to me in the presence of our loved ones before God. Yet, last night, you made it plain that you would act as you wished, despite my entreaties. You essentially told me to find my own way to hell, acting as if your desires were the only ones that mattered without considering mine or our feelings. I didn't mean for it to come off that way, Frank. I didn't understand that I was causing you pain. I just wanted a change. I love you. It wasn't about you. It was something I felt I needed independently. However, you made a grave mistake by ignoring me completely during your night with Glenn. That evening should have been a shared experience for us and our children, but it turned out to be merely about you two, without any thought given to us or our family. I wanted a special moment for myself too. Well done, congratulations on your self-centered escapade. It's cost you more than just a night of pleasure. It has likely damaged your standing with friends and family. Although there may come a day when I can find it in my heart to forgive, I will never forget what you did, and I will ensure that everyone is aware of your actions. You have the audacity to call me sensitive for being hurt by your infidelity. Looks like you're in a predicament now, Sharon, when you confess to having an affair with Glenn 4 times, both of you enjoying each other twice. Oh dear, Frank, no, you can't reveal this. My parents will be heartbroken. Sorry, Sharon. Perhaps you should have considered the consequences before acting. You've created your own situation. Now you must bear its consequences. You appear to view your actions as insignificant, akin to receiving a traffic ticket or forgetting to return a library book. You've jeopardized a stable 10-year relationship with someone who deeply cared for you, all for a fleeting encounter with a stranger. Was it worth the cost of losing your family? I didn't foresee such a catastrophic outcome, Frank. I expected you'd be understanding and supportive. It's unfathomable to expect anyone to endorse infidelity, especially for a momentary fling. Such actions don't work that way, and you should have known better. What was going through your mind, Sharon? What led you to make this choice? Frank, genuinely, why make such a fuss about my occasional encounters with other men? It didn't alter our relationship in any way. It remains yours, available whenever you decide to reclaim it. What I did with Glenn last night doesn't lessen my affection for you. I've heard of couples experimenting at the Vanderlands, and the idea resonated with me. Why shouldn't a spouse have an unconventional experience with someone new, someone safe, and find pleasure in it? I felt drawn to explore something fresh only once, then return to you. But my act displayed disregard for me. I pleaded with you not to, yet you chose to do so regardless. You neglected to involve me in an experience we've shared for over a decade. Our vows meant the world to me. The bond between us brought 3 beautiful children into our lives who adore us both. We were a family united solely for each other. Yet you exposed a part of you that helped create those kids to someone else. For what purpose? A momentary excitement, a fleeting fling. You consider it a singular incident I should let go of, but to me, it's an unforgivable betrayal of our family, our vows, and any regard you once had for me. You desired someone else, and you obtained that desire. However, in achieving this, Sharon, you discarded everything we cherished. A part of me still feels for you, but I can no longer be with you. Why are you being so obstinate, Frank? Can't you see it was just a desperate plea? Nothing remains the same between us. Everything has changed, Sharon. You belong to someone else now. I implored you not to do this. I can't simply forgive and forget. You betrayed me, and that wound will never heal. I'm hiring a lawyer and filing for divorce tomorrow, citing your infidelity. I'll implicate Glenn and everyone else involved, and envision the backlash when your friends discover you are responsible for their social circle unraveling. Farewell, Sharon, and take your affairs with you. Upon entering Maddie Simmons' legal office, I sensed I had found the appropriate attorney to steer me through the turmoil engulfing my life. Her straight-talking and efficient approach immediately got to the essence of the issue. She inquired about the reasons behind my divorce request and my objectives for it. I disclosed that I anticipated splitting my assets with Sharon, possibly offering her our home for less money. Additionally, I acknowledged that winning sole custody of the children was improbable, but I demanded unfettered access to them and exemption from alimony payments. I presented audio proof of Sharon's infidelity, where she openly admitted her repeated actions with Glenn in voicemails potentially usable as evidence in court. Miss Simmons appeared shocked at my wife's recklessness for confessing her affair through incriminating voicemails. A voice recognition specialist might be required to verify if it's your wife's voice, she clarified. Assuming we don't come across a biased judge, these recordings should be acceptable as evidence in court. For the rest of the hour, we delved into my objectives concerning Glenn and the others from the spouse swapping event. She expressed skepticism about receiving any financial compensation from them. However, she proposed a strategy to reveal their actions publicly, causing enough shame to harm them. I expressed contentment with this approach. I compensated her upfront and requested immediate action against Sharon. She guaranteed prompt execution and promised prior notification. On Tuesday afternoon, I retrieved my children from my mother and returned them to Sharon's residence. Upon our arrival, she affectionately embraced and kissed the kids before extending a hand towards me. However, I retreated, prompting her to cry and beg me to remain with her. I made clear that I couldn't help, but felt it was beneficial for the children to stay with her until Friday for the weekend. Sharon appeared distressed, yet I empathized as the situation was self-inflicted. Her hardship wasn't as severe as mine due to her actions. On Wednesday, I resumed work. Aware that I couldn't abandon my job, I found solace in it more than ever, not only for financial reasons, but also for mental relief. Submerging myself excessively in the pain and self-pity from Sharon's infidelity was a fear, as it could jeopardize my mental stability, something crucial for the sake of my kids. On Thursday, I met Doug and Max once more, this occasion at the Half-Shell Oyster House, where their charbroiled oysters and dirty martinis were favorites of mine. We discussed my children's situation and the divorce progress during our meal. Doug had researched ways to safeguard some of my assets, and I granted him permission to proceed. Although minimal, these resources could prove beneficial in the future. We devised a straightforward strategy to instigate trouble within the wife swap club, all while avoiding any legal repercussions. Max knew someone who served as a reporter for the Bayou Sun Herald. He proposed that I give him the Vanderlyn address and regular meeting times of the group, so he could potentially expose some members. He suggested writing an editorial implying that wife swapping was more prevalent in Bayou than assumed. By insinuating certain business owners' involvement without directly naming them and obtaining photos of couples entering and exiting gatherings, we could generate enough scandal to disrupt the group. Max took the limited data I provided and initiated his investigation. With our plan underway, we parted ways until future meetings. My weekend with my children was delightful. Shopped for new outfits, viewed a Disney film at the Grand 18 Cinema in Diverville, and spent an entire day beachside, swimming and playing frisbee. My children were my utmost concern, and I vowed to always be available for them. On Monday morning, Max phoned me. His friend from Sun Herald was intrigued by the story concept and was arranging photos of the couples entering and exiting the Vanderlyn residence. In a small town like this, even blurred faces could easily be recognized. If all went smoothly, it could hit headlines within the week. I kept my hopes pinned. Sharon continued to call, pleading for me to return home, guaranteeing she'd rectify matters. However, she never once expressed regret or acknowledged her error. On Wednesday, my lawyer informed me that Sharon would be served with papers at our residence on Friday morning. Then, Doug shared that he discovered a way to safeguard around a third of my funds by placing it in the names of my children. Ultimately, Max contacted me to share that his friend found out the swinging couples were meeting once more on Friday night at the Vanderlyns. He intended to observe from an unmarked van, capturing photos of everyone, and sought another interview with me regarding the gathering. In case all went well, the article would be published in a week's time. I felt much improved compared to recently. As Friday approached, I anticipated Sharon's call after she received her divorce papers. As expected, it came at 2:30. My lawyer informed me that she had been served. Shortly thereafter, my phone rang again, and I recognized the caller as Sharon. I chuckled internally, wondering what she needed. Initially, I considered ignoring the call and letting it go to voicemail. However, I decided against it. "Hello, Sharon, what's new?" I responded. "What in the world did you do, Frank?" She sounded unfriendly. "I filed for a divorce as promised," I replied. "I warned you there wouldn't be a divorce. And you accused me of adultery. A single night with another man isn't considered adultery, Frank." "I respectfully disagree, Sharon. In Mississippi law, engaging in intimacy with someone other than your spouse is defined as adultery, and Glenn clearly committed it with you." Tears filled her eyes. "Why are you being so harsh, Frank? I love you. All Glenn did was have intimacy with me a few times. It was just a fling." "Oh, my apologies, Sharon. I must have been mistaken that having intimacy outside of marriage isn't adultery. How could I have made such an error? Move on, Sharon. It's over. I warned you repeatedly and begged you not to do it, but you did it anyway. Now you have to deal with the repercussions, and soon enough you'll see that your troubles aren't finished yet. Goodbye, Sharon. May you lead a wretched life." And I ended the call. The most difficult aspect was that I still had feelings for Sharon. Despite my initial inclination, I could no longer trust her due to infidelity, making it impossible for me to remain married. My instincts warned me against visiting the Vanderlyns on Friday night, but curiosity compelled me to drive by and observe. I was also curious if Sharon's car was present, though I doubted she would attend this time. Her vehicle wasn't there, but she might have gone with someone else. Although they usually permitted only couples, they had made an exception once before, so it was not unimaginable for them to do so again. I noticed a van parked across the street, presumably where the reporter was stationed. I wished him success in his endeavor to expose them. Information began pouring in swiftly. The following afternoon, my reporter friend called, requesting confidential details, which I willingly shared. He mentioned he had taken over 100 photographs and identified more than a dozen prominent city couples among them. Strangely, these weren't the same couples spotted leaving the residence 2 hours later. He received a photograph of my spouse from Max, which he confirmed didn't match anyone going in or out of the Vanderlyns' residence. I was asked to detail my observations and experiences within the house during crucial gatherings. Although I never witnessed the part where men chose a key and departed with the accompanying woman, I managed to give a reasonable account based on my wife's description and eavesdropping on conversations between other couples about prior events. During our call, He suggested hinting at a marriage that disintegrated due to these parties, leaving their children to manage their parents' separation. I agreed, provided no names were disclosed. The article was published in the Sunday edition of the newspaper, causing quite a commotion. It graced the front page with a large, blurred image of couples arriving and departing, followed by 4 more pages filled with additional photos. Regardless of their attempts to conceal identities, participants were recognizable by their vehicles and attire, as they were notable figures in Bayou community. By Monday, the incident became the town's main topic of discussion. Several ministers commented on the decaying morality, while civic leaders denounced the situation. Lawsuits were filed but proved fruitless. Some businesses experienced a loss of clients, and numerous couples found themselves in court for divorce. I found it entertaining, a suitable retribution for the anguish I suffered from losing my wife and family. Even if people discovered that I was betrayed, it didn't bother me. I had my revenge, and that was all that mattered. Sharon persistently attempted to reconcile for months, but I remained resolute in my choice. The divorce was finalized, and we shared joint custody of our children. We divided our time with them. When I have them, Sharon gets them on weekends, and the reverse is true. It's not perfect, but we're making it work. Since Sharon made no objections regarding the divorce, I chose not to disclose the recordings of her admitting her affair to relatives or acquaintances. As for those couples attending the orgies, some dissolved their marriages and departed from town, possibly due to the ensuing scandal. Sharon is now dating again. However, it seems she may not fully grasp why her actions caused me such pain. Yet that's her predicament, and I wish her future spouse good fortune. I have gone on dates with several pleasant ladies, but I haven't found the appropriate one for a long-term commitment yet. Some propose cohabitation, but I remain hesitant to give a woman a key to my residence.